Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Gumball. And I haven't uploaded in a while, but I've been busy with shit like school and streaming on Twitch, which if you haven't checked me out or you don't use Twitch, you should. It's a lot better. The content over there is a lot better too. But today I'm checking out or not really checking out. We're going over my Players Cup 3 run. So, you're seeing Mad Party on screen right now, and that's because Mad Party is the first deck we played. So, if you weren't watching on Twitch, I've been alternating decks every 5 keys. And I tried to go through as many meta decks as possible. And I left a few out, but I have another account with 50 keys on it that I can always use for content if I need to. But I went over the decks that I thought were going to be the main contenders for Players Cup 3. As in, like, the main event, right? Of course, I left things out, like, I didn't play a Mew 3 variant like I planned to, because there's, like, 3 different ones. 4 if you include the new Rainbow version that has popped up. I didn't play Control, mostly because I don't like playing Control, and I haven't played the game in a while, at least in Standard, so I don't think I could pilot Control very well. So I don't think that I would represent Control very well as a player. But this Mad Party list is a pretty standard list. I'm running a 2-2 split between the Sinisties. The damage is neat, and it sometimes does matter. But I like the potential of drawing cards with Tea Time. But giving your opponent cards is never that good. Either way, you should never be attacking the Sinisty. I think a 2-2 split is fair. Overall, the only thing I would really change with the deck is, like, adding another Exile, probably. Adding another E-Radar, because I like always having Dedenne outs in hand. And it's not necessary, but I would like a 4th Triple Excel, because a lot of my games with Mad Party, I came really close to losing because I was going to run out of energy. Whereas, if I wasn't going to run out of energy, I would have always won most of my games. So, I like Mad Party a lot. I don't think it's that good, though. I think Level Ball definitely helps this deck out. You have a lot of draw support options, but getting Stamped or getting Marnied. Oh, yeah, another couple of things I would add. I would probably add the Bench Barrier and the Marshadow, which a lot of Mad Party lists were already playing. I was not, because I net decked what I can only assume is not a very good list. But let's go ahead and go over my keys real quick that I went with Mad Party. So I got 13 rep with Mad Party, being a 2nd place, which net me 3, 2 losses, which net me 0, and my last 2 keys, I both won. So averaging a little under a 3 rep per key is pretty damn good. But it ended up pretty badly. I'll go over it in a bit, though. So the second deck we were going over was Pika Rom, right? Some people think that Pika was falling off recently, but it also came back at the same time that people thought it was dying off with a new variant. So my list isn't that up to date, but since I already have the screen open, I'll go over Pika real quick. My first 4 keys, I all won. Won every single key with Pika Rom until my last one, which I don't remember why I lost, but I still got 1 rep with it. So we are averaging over 4 rep per key with Pika. That is actually insane. Because, not that this would have happened, but if I continued that rate for all 50 keys, I would have hit over 200. Obviously, that's super hard to keep up with, and I did just get lucky. But here's the list I've been playing. I believe this is my teammate Avi's list that he used for his team challenge, except I think I changed 1 card. I think I cut the second Mew 3 for something else, but don't cut Mew 3. 2 Mew 3 is really good. I regret cutting the second one. For no particular reason other than just having more HP than Pika Rom is really good. And I wouldn't say that there's been a surgence of Cole in Standard, but it's been seeing a little bit more play. So I kind of want to respect the deck. I don't like this list very much. I'm going to be honest. I don't think this list is good. The lists that have been popping up recently have been playing 2 Yellgrunt, and I agree with that, because Yellgrunt is super fucking oppressive and very scary. But they also have been playing, like, I think 1 Tag Switch and 0 Energy Switch, and I don't know if I agree with that. But, because if you are running the second Mew 3, you know, 2 Mew 3, 2 Pika, and a Choo Choo, like, you have 5 tag teams. So if you're trying to set up the full blitz or something, then it's not that big a deal. Another thing is that, like, after your full blitz or after a Tandem Shock, you can tag switch to, like, a Boltund. So I don't like it without having testing it. So I'm basing that on nothing. I also don't like Big Charm. Every game that I had Big Charm, it just felt like it did nothing. And the Cherish Ball, I like the Cherish Ball as a one-of, but I don't think it's necessary. I think this is your flex spot for sure. But it's still Pika, it's still insane. And let's go over the next deck real quick. So, the next deck that I played on my list was Senti. It may look pretty, but it was not. Oh my god. I'll have to... Well, okay, first, I guess I should talk over the deck itself real quick. You already know what the deck does. Senti just swings super hard after a Flare Starter and a Welder turn 2, right? I think this is just Ian Rob's list that he used to win GG Tour. I think it was GG Tour, right? I'm pretty sure it was GG Tour that Ian Rob won. But, I don't know why he doesn't play Heatran. I kind of like Heatran. But I guess it's... If it's Heatran versus Zard, Zard is probably better because Zard can donk shit. It's also a lot safer to Flare Starter to a Zard than it is to Heatran because it's a lot easier to hit 190 than it is for 270. Because, like, E-Turn, that's like 1 Zigping and a total of, like, 5 bench Pokemon kills Heatran, whereas they need a max bench to kill Reshi. Although it's going to be really hard to just fucking deal with E-Turn anyway, right? I don't know. I don't know if using E-Turn was a good example there, but it's an example of Heatran dying super easily to Flare Starter. Or after Flare Starter. But, yeah, I don't like Senti that much. I don't like the fact that it's a Welder deck that's an evolution-based Welder deck. So, I got 7 rep with Senti. Really bad. I lost my first key. Won on my second key. Didn't win again. I lost again. And then I got 2 fourths, so 0 for each loss, 5 for the win, and 1 point for each fourth. So that is averaging less than 2 rep per key with Senti. At that rate, I would not have qualified for Players Cup 3. But the next deck, this is my favorite deck in the format right now, is E-Turn Hammers. I got 20 rep with E-Turn Hammers. My first 2 were both wins. My last 2 were wins. I want to talk about the 1 loss. Because the 1 loss that I took playing E-Turn Hammers, that was the only game I dropped at that night. Actually, I think that's the only game I've dropped, period. I'll talk about that more in a second, but I prized all 4 bats in the mirror. It wasn't even E-Turn Hammers mirror. It was a bad poison E-Turn list. Playing the Garb. Like a 2-2 Garb instead of the Slowbro. But I prized all 4 bat, and you fucking cannot win the mirror if you prize all 4 bat. It's just not possible. On top of that, I couldn't find any draw supporters. I think I had a research in my hand turn 1, and then I got Marnied into nothing, and then just drew past from there. But let's go over the list real quick. This is the list I've been playing. I found out that if I had matching supporter arts, this would only be 2 rows. 2 rows of a list is pretty funny. The things I would change. I think Hoopa's bad. I don't like Hoopa. I think that if I'm playing it as a one-of, I think Spiritomb is just better. Now, if you play Hoopa over the second Spiritomb, I think that's debatable. I still think Spiritomb's better. I would also definitely play a second Yveltal. Yveltal's so fucking good. Like, I've derailed a lot of matchups. And also, prizing it kind of sucks because it's super good as a pivot. Another thing I don't like 3 E-Turn VMAX. There's been a lot of my games that I've played with this deck. I struggled to find the second E-Turn max. And I either lost a bunch of my bench slots, or I got really close to it and only didn't because I just got lucky and my opponent didn't KO me. But E-Turns is so fucking insane. I've been in games where I can take 3 prizes super early, fall behind for multiple turns, and then just set up another E-Turn, power plant them, Marnie them, and then just fucking come back. Like, if I take an early KO, I feel like I always win. But even if I don't, it's fucking E-Turn, I can set up multiple E-Turn, and then you have to go through 2 E-Turn, and I still win. Like, this game's obvious auto losses are, like, Decigoons, and even then, I don't even think that's an auto loss. Like, it's a terrible matchup, but you can still win that matchup. But that's also another reason I want the Spiritomb over the Hoopa. Like, I guess Hoopa can trade against Desi. No, it can't because Desi one-shots it with weakness. I'm fucking stupid. Duh, that's why it's bad. That's why it's worse than Spiritomb, because it doesn't swing as hard. But you can derail them with the Yveltal. You can hammer their shit away. And like with your one Hoopa, I guess, or one Spiritomb, whatever, then you can just start taking easy KOs. Because they just can't attack you. It's so nutty. I like the 4-4-4 supporter lineup. I don't know how I feel about Plant. I both like Plant and think it's unnecessary. I can understand why E-turns are either playing one swell or cutting stadiums altogether. But Plant definitely clutched a lot of my games. I think it's really good against Pika, especially since Pika's playing the 2 Yell Grunt now. That can make it a lot harder of a matchup. So if you're able to plant them and stick the plant, then they can't Dead Edge change their shit. They can't... It's going to be harder for them to draw Yell Grunts and punish you at the same time. But another thing I don't like 4 Great Ball. I kind of want to play 4 Com instead, but I think that's also just a result of me only playing 3 Eternamax. Like, if you go back and watch some of my Twitch VODs, you'll see that I failed Great Ball a lot. Like, it's not like I Great Balled into something I didn't want. It's that I just straight up did not find a Pokemon off Great Ball. And only 17... I think Great Ball works a lot better than the Poison variant, because I think there's like, what, 22 Pokemon? Might even be more, honestly. But, the next deck... What was the next deck that I played? ADP. So, I named the deck Yep Dicks, because I don't like this deck. I believe this is Isaiah Bradner's list that I stole, except I cut the second band. I don't remember what I cut the second band for. I think I cut it for Swell. I don't remember. Also, I can fix this real quick, because I bought a 4th one. But yeah, ADPZ. ADP is just... It's ADP. The deck is insane, but it also sucks at the same time. Like, it feels like every game with ADP is always dependent on whether or not your opponent draws out of it, or draws better than you. And since this deck is so consistent, it's kind of hard to do that, but if they sack you, then you can't do anything. That's really what this deck feels like. This deck does not feel like it takes skill at all. I'm pretty sure this deck only comes down to luck. That being said, this deck is, this list specifically is supposed to be super duper consistent. And also the Double Mawile is super funny. I like the Double Mawile a lot. I think Double Mawile is super good right now. E-turn is one of your hardest matchups, and being able to just Mawile twice against bats is, like, nice. Because the difference between, like, okay, Mawile can use water energy, which Zacian can't. And the difference between Mawile and Zacian is that Zacian needs 2 saucers in order to attack in 1 turn. 2 saucers and a manual attachment, and it has to be a metal one. Mawile just needs any manual attachment and 1 saucer. And then you can just boss a bat against E-turn. And then you can do that twice in a game. It makes going against E-turn a lot easier. Especially like if they're playing hammers, because you only need 2 energy and you can set it up in 1 turn. So it's super duper hard for them to punish. But I did not do that well with ADP. Where was it? Right here. So I got 11 rep with ADP. I lost my first 2 keys with it. I think it's because I hit the mirror and then hit, I think, Decigoons. I don't remember. I don't remember what I hit playing ADP, but I'm pretty sure one of them was the mirror. I got 2 seconds. I don't even remember why I got 2 seconds. But it just... Again, I'm pretty sure one of those was a mirror. And then I finally won my last key, which brought back a lot of rep because averaging less than 2... If I lost the finals again, I would have averaged less than 2 rep per key. With 11, I averaged a little more. And then the next deck is Blacephalon. Blacephalon I got 12 rep with. I actually... It's been a while since I played Blacephalon. And the last time I played it, I also played ADP, and I hated both. I think that was at the beginning of Vivid Voltage, right? I didn't like either deck, but after playing Baby Blondes again, god damn, that deck draws hot. That deck has the potential to draw hotter than the goddamn sun. Let's go ahead and check out the list. I forget who I stole this from. I'm gonna be honest, I net decked most of my lists. I didn't make like 90% of my list. I made my E-turn Hammers list, but I net decked somebody and changed like 5 cards. So I really didn't even make that. But Baby Blondes, this deck is neat. I don't know if it's better than Tempo Zard. I think I like Tempo Zard better. I have to... Yeah, I like Tempo Zard better. I don't know if there's anything different about this list that all the other Blounds don't play. Like the 2 Great Ball, the 2 Energy Retrieval, 16 Fire, the 4 Baby Blounds. Some of them might be playing 3 Baby Blounds. Again, I don't know what's different about these lists than any others. My tongue. Let's go check out how I did. 12 rep. That's right. Blounds either delivered heavily with the 2 wins, or it got shit on with a loss and then 2 fourths. Still, averaging better than 2 rep per key. So that is another deck that I think you could easily qualify with. It did better than ADP with me, which is surprised. It definitely surprised me. I did not expect Blounds to do better than ADP with me. But yeah, it's just a draw hot deck like it's always been. I don't really think there's anything else to say about it. There's a lot to say about Luke Metal, though. Luke Metal is the exact same way. I got shit on in 2 of my keys, and then I won the other 3. I averaged more than 3 rep per key with Luke Metal, and that fucking shocked me because that deck draws like Greninja. I really don't think Luke Metal... I was about to say I don't think Luke Metal's a good deck, but that's not how I feel about it at all. I think Luke Metal is a great deck that draws like shit. I hate Luke Metal. And here's my list. I'm pretty sure I just took Josh Sutherland's list but cut Hammers because he knows I don't like Hammer. I think all I changed was that I put in 2 Swell and a second tag call. The second tag call is something that I do like. Actually, you know what? I don't play the Guzmahala either. Does Josh even play the Guzmahala? I don't know. What does Josh not play? Actually, I don't know if Josh plays 4 Research. But, I don't know. Luke Metal draws like shit. I don't really want to cut draw supporters. I could definitely see a case for cutting Swell for a Guzmahala. But I don't want to play Hammers in this deck. I think Luke Metal is a deck that utilizes Hammers very well. But I don't like them in this deck because I don't like them in decks that can't draw cards. Like, if it's between drawing Hammer or drawing anything else, barred like a Scrapper, a Zamazenta in matchups where I don't need it, or like a Hood in any matchup I don't need it. There's only a handful of cards I would ever not rather draw than Hammer, but if it's Hammer versus like any draw supporter, Hammer versus a tag call so I can Sinlin, or Hammer versus a Metal Energy or another Zacian, like, I guess that doesn't make that much of a difference because Josh does play most of the same counts. But I still don't like Luke Metal. Even though it's doing really well with me, I still don't like it. I'm over the deck. I played that deck to hell and back for most of the season so far. I'm just over the deck. If you don't know, the Hood is so you can play around Fion. So against Decigoons, you can just Hood your Luke Metal, force them to kill it, and then you can just go into a Zacian with a Goggle as your only benched Pokemon, and then they just can't win because they can't Fion because you don't have a bench. So you're pretty much forcing them to attack with the Goon, and you can play around the Goon pretty easily. Because all you have to do is just Gust it when it's on the bench. Or like Hammer it if you were playing Hammers, which I'm not, which I probably should be. But you can also just save your Full Metal Wall until they set up the Goon. I don't know, there's a lot of ways you can beat Decigoons, but the Hood is supposed to help with Fion. It's also good against Poison E-Turn because they can't poison the Zamazenta. And because none of them play Sableye anymore because Sableye is bad. They basically can't go through Zama, which is pretty sick. I think there was one other matchup where Hood was really good for, but I don't remember. I would need to ask Josh again about it. I only played this deck for 5 keys, and its new variant. So what is the next deck that I played? Oh boy, hold on, I gotta save this real quick. Decigoons. Decigoons. Fuck Decigoons. Fuck a bitch named Decigoons. I don't want to talk about Decigoons. I think this deck is absolutely terrible. I think Decigoons might be one of the worst decks in the format. You auto-win Pika, You auto-win Mew 3. I think you auto-win E-turn Hammers. And you lose to everything else. I got 1 rep with Decigoons. I got 1 4th place with Decigoons. Every other key got wasted. I got 1 rep with Decigoons. I was hitting good matchups. I was even hitting bad opponents that didn't know how to play the game. That's kind of just Players' Cup, though. A lot of not very good players. Very occasionally, very rarely, you'll hit a really, a good player. I got 1 rep with Decigoons. I think this deck fucking sucks. I do not think it's good. And I definitely will not be playing it again. The next deck, second to last deck I played was E-turn Poison. Poison E-turn, what the fuck? Why did I say that backwards? I don't like Poison E-turn either. I got a loss with it, a win with it, 2 more losses with it, and another win. I think it's the least consistent E-turn build. Well, that's kind of obvious because you play a lot thicker Pokemon's line. And there's a lot less space to work with. I don't like Poison E-turn. I mean, okay. Averaging 2 per key is fine. That means I am on track to qualify. If all I played was E-turn Hammers. Again, this is all based on 5 keys, by the way. If I made my full run with Poison E-turn, would I have qualified? I don't know. Here's the list. I think I stole this from somebody. I don't like Poison E-turn. I'm not going to say that it feels inconsistent, but it feels pretty inconsistent. I just don't like the idea of having to set up so much in order to do what you want to do. I kind of feel like you're, like, okay. What matchups are Poison good for? Not even Luke Metal if they play the Hood. If Luke Metal plays Hood, you can't fucking win. Not good against Decigoons because they have the special energy and you don't play Yveltal because you have triple Dark City, which I don't know if I agree with. Like, overplaying the Yveltal? Maybe. I mean, it's because you pivot into Slowbro, though, so there's no point in playing the Yveltal. You have trouble versus any other Hammer deck because you're just inherently less consistent and play less basic energy, so it's harder to power excel. And against VMAXs, fucking you can just land hammers and consistently set up against them and just shit on them. So I don't even know what matchups that Poison E-turn wins that Hammers already doesn't. I don't know. I'm not a fan. It's fine. The deck is fine. I'm just being a big bitch about it. And the very last deck that I played, I was struggling to figure out what I wanted to play for my last 5 keys because prior to Decigoons, so I had 15 keys left and I was already at 100 reps. So after my last 15 keys, I only got 22 rep out of my last 15 keys. Or no, 23. But I was on track to hit 140. I was on track to hitting 140. That would have put me at the top of the global leaderboard. But now I'm not even guaranteed top 10. And all that doesn't matter. I qualified. I'm guaranteed in. But I wish that I was at the top of the leaderboard because then I get that clout. But yeah, Tempozard, Crucephalon. It has many names. It's the same deck. Basically, it is a ghetto fusion between Baby Blacephalon and Reshizard. I won my first key with it, feeling really good. I got second with another key with it, started feeling super good. Got fourth and was like, you know what? After 3 keys, with 9 rep, I'm averaging 3 per key. That's kind of insane. I got second, so I was still averaging 3 per key, but the only reason that I got second and didn't win was because I had to leave for a tournament. And because I had to leave for a tournament, I had to forfeit the finals, which sucked. And then after the tournament, I still had 1 key left. I was just like, I don't even know what to do with this. So I go in, play Tempozard again, and I lost. I forget what I lost to, but I lost. So I ended Players' Cup 3 with a total of 123 rep. I guess I'll go over the list real quick. It's not very special. It's just, what's his name? Yoshi something. The Japanese player that topped a tournament. I think it was the Limitless tourney. I think it was top 8 in the Limitless Major with this list. I saw the list going into day 2, and I was like, damn, I actually really like this list. This deck is insane. I thought on paper that I wouldn't like it because I was like, this kind of just seems like a janky Baby Blounce. Like, it's just Reshizard, but you don't have Flare Starter. And then after playing it a lot, I realized why it doesn't play Flare Starter. It's unnecessary. This deck is super cool. But it's kind of like Baby Blounce. It's a draw hot deck like every other Welder deck in existence. But I do really like it. And the reason that E-Turn is my favorite deck in format, I said that a minute ago, but I never actually went over it. I won that tournament, by the way. It was only like, Advanced Edge, it was only like 53 people. Because a lot of people were still playing in the Limitless Major. I also think that people were just grinding Players' Cup, and that hurt the attendance. So 53 isn't impressive. I think the only impressive part is that I went undefeated. I started off 4-0, and then I did my last 2 rounds. I had to leave somewhere, so somebody else played top 8 for me, and then I came back for top 4, and then bodied top 4 in finals. When I probably shouldn't have, but opponents definitely misplayed. Not much you can do about that. So, like I said, I am 8th globally right now. One person has passed me. Brian Mitsu passed me. So, I could have been tied for 5th if I won my last key with Tempozard, but I didn't, and that's unfortunate, but still, for right now, top 10 globally is pretty good. There's only been 9 people so far to hit 120, and most of them are from North America. There's only JJTCG is Italian, so he is the only non-North American player that is globally in the top 10. So that's pretty good. The last time this happened, though, I was top 10 until like the last week of the tournament. Then all the big people started grinding, and then I ended up in like 25th or something, or tied for 25th globally. Either way, that's gonna be my Players Cup 3 recap. I might make another one depending on how like my next 50 keys goes on this other account. But go check me out on Twitch. I probably won't be streaming when I upload this, but I'll be streaming sometime this week. Link in the description. And yeah, peace out.